To remain ahead of the curve, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Welcome to Grand Prix, your go-to channel for the quickest updates in Formula One. We have 3 exciting stories for you. Let's get started. Hey, Formula One fans, we've got some serious news that could impact the future of one of the sport's biggest teams, Red Bull Racing. So stay tuned, and if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button we bring you. F1 content every single day, fast, clear, and straight to the point. And if you enjoy this video, give it a thumbs up. It helps us a lot. Today we're talking about Christian Horner, Red Bull's team principal. Not long ago, Horner was almost universally praised within the team during Red Bull's dominant seasons. His leadership was rarely questioned, but over the past year, a series of controversies has seriously damaged his image, raising doubts about his future with the team. Reports now suggest that Horner himself is preparing for the possibility of being removed from his position, not because he wants to leave, but because he believes the decision could be made for him. According to sources, he has begun conversations with Flavio Briatore, who currently serves as a temporary consultant at Alpine, a team actively looking for a permanent team principal. The idea is for Brian to eventually step aside and let someone else take the reins. One of the requirements for Horner to stay in charge was that the team's on-track performance remained strong, which isn't happening in 2025 and is adding even more pressure. Horner reportedly started these talks because his support within Red Bull is rapidly waning, particularly from the Thai ownership group that had previously supported him despite the turmoil. The court matter concerning claims of wrongdoing by a female employee is undoubtedly the most significant problem facing Horner. In addition to the ongoing legal battle with Helmut Marko, enough damaging information has already been leaked in this case to affect his and the team's reputation. The long-standing advisor to Red Bull following Horner's decision to extend Sergio Perez's contract, which ultimately cost the team over $18 million, Horner no longer has the authority to sign new drivers, not even for the junior teams like Racing Bulls or Red Bull's feeder series. This change comes after Horner allegedly attempted to fire Marko last year, forcing Max Verstappen to step in and threaten to leave the team if Marko were removed. This intervention helped Marko maintain his influence while Horner's powers were significantly reduced. Another significant point of contention in Horner's response is that he seems to be actively looking into opportunities outside of Red Bull. In a recent interview, he even mentioned that Ferrari had expressed interest in hiring him, but he turned it down at the time. Now, discussions with Alpine and Briatore are widely known throughout the paddock, indicating a serious move on Horner's part. Briatore, who is renowned for not caring about controversy, might be Horner's best ally, particularly if Alpine is seeking seasoned leadership to turn things around. Horner is reportedly seeking more than just a leadership position. He is also requesting partial ownership of the team, which raises the stakes. We'll have to wait and see if Alpine is prepared to make that kind of deal and whether Red Bull will choose to keep Horner or let him go. It's not just about advancing his career. It's also about securing long-term influence wherever he ends up. Christian Horner appears to be preparing for whatever comes next because a lot may change before the 2026 season begins. But do you think Horner is justified in looking into alternative options? Has his tenure at Red Bull already over, or will the squad continue to support him in spite of the recent setbacks? Due to the Canadian driver's recent medical procedure, which involved surgery on his wrist earlier this week due to recurrent pain, the uncertainty surrounding Lance Stroll's participation in the upcoming Canadian Grand Prix has garnered a lot of attention, especially from Brazilian fans, as it may finally allow Felipe Drugovich to make his long-awaited Formula One debut. This procedure was a repeat of a similar procedure he had 2 years ago, which at the time required about 15 days of recovery before he could return to racing given the Canadian Grand Prix, which is scheduled for next weekend. Naturally, concerns have been raised regarding Stroll's availability for the race given the time of his recuperation, while Felipe Drugovich has publicly declared that he is prepared to skip the endurance race if he is called upon to replace Stroll in Montreal, despite the fact that Aston Martin's backup driver has been getting ready for his planned participation in the 24 Hours of Le Mans, which falls during the weekend of the Canadian Grand Prix. Stroll's recuperation is reportedly going well, according to recent reports from sources close to Aston Martin. The information revealed indicates that the anticipated recovery period would conclude shortly before the start of on-track activities in Montreal, which would technically qualify the Canadian driver for competition from a medical standpoint. However, his participation will ultimately depend on the outcomes of a number of physical examinations and required fitness tests necessary by the team and the FIA to ascertain if Stroll can withstand the physical demands of a complete Grand Prix without running the danger of suffering more injuries. These tests are crucial. The possibility exists that Stroll will start on the starting grid for his home race if he passes these tests and does not report any lingering discomfort. In that scenario, Drugovich would fulfill his initial commitment and travel to France for the Le Mans event. However, any setbacks or last-minute concerns regarding Stroll's condition could pave the way for the Brazilian to finally make his Formula One debut, a moment that fans have been waiting for since he joined the Aston Martin driver program. Although Stroll's participation in the Canadian Grand Prix has not yet been officially confirmed by Aston Martin, there is a sense of optimism behind the scenes that the team is getting ready as if the Canadian will race, especially given the symbolic and emotional significance of competing at home for Drugovich. Nevertheless, the possibility still exists, and his professionalism in staying ready for either outcome reflects the mindset of a driver who understands how quickly opportunities can arise at the highest level of motorsport. This development emphasizes how Formula One is unpredictable and that possibilities can arise from both merit and unanticipated situations. Drugovich has gained respect from both the paddock and his fans because to his constant displays of maturity, focus, and adaptability. His willingness to assume the position at any time, his determination to solidify his position in the sport is reflected in his notice, and his performance in practice sessions and simulator work has kept him highly regarded by the Aston Martin team. Hey friends, here's an urgent update straight from the Red Bull garage that could rock the grid in the upcoming weeks. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and enable notifications because we're here every single day with the most up-to-date and pertinent news from Formula One, always direct and on point. Now, let's get started. Following the incident involving Max Verstappen and George Russell during the Spanish Grand Prix, things have escalated beyond what many anticipated. The championship race is heating up, and Red Bull is already feeling pressure from McLaren. Verstappen's 10-second time penalty during the race dropped him from P5 to P10, but more importantly, he was given 3 penalty points on his super license, bringing his total to 11, just 1 point shy of the dreaded 12-point limit that results in an automatic one-race suspension. It would be disastrous for Ferrari and even Mercedes in the constructors' rankings to lose their top driver for a race. Red Bull is aware of this, which is precisely why, based on racing reports, the team has discreetly applied for a super license exemption for one of its most talented young drivers. Lindblad Arvid, though only 17 years old. Lindblad is already competing in Formula 2 and is presently third in the championship. He has earned enough points for a super license, but because to his age, the FIA must grant him a special waiver. If that sounds familiar, it's because Mercedes, despite being minors, Kimi and Antonelli encountered the same circumstance last season. The license was given to Antonelli due to his outstanding maturity and performance history. According to all reports, Lindblad matches that description. The FIA is scheduled to vote on Lindblad's exemption as early as next week. If it is accepted, he might be ready to compete in Formula One right away. However, Red Bull has another name in mind in case Verstappen is suspended before then. In his first season with Racing Bulls, young French driver Isaac Hadjar has been making headlines. Heger would probably be promoted to Red Bull's main seat if Verstappen is sidelined, which would allow the team to assess him under intense pressure. This move would create a vacancy at Racing Bulls, and Red Bull would then choose between Aimu Iwasa and Arvid Lindblad to fill it, contingent on Lindblad receiving approval from the FIA. There is ample cause to be concerned about Verstappen's erratic driving style and emotional outbursts, and this whole situation demonstrates that Red Bull is bracing for the worst. Even his own team has expressed concern about Verstappen's recent behavior. Many people believe that the collision with Russell was preventable, and some insiders believe that if Verstappen doesn't control his aggression, it could cost the team a lot of points and even